for lesson 4's homework, we're going to continue our work with our inscribed angles. So we're going to use the definition of inscribed and central to answer the following, to answer each below. So we're going to find x. So here, x is a central angle. So all they tell us is that angle D is 25 degrees. Well, since angle D is inscribed, we know it's half its arc. So therefore, the arc it opens up to is BC. So that has to be a 50-degree arc. Now, central angles and their arcs are equal, so therefore we have a 50-degree angle for x. In part B, it tells us angle B is 32. So we're kind of going to follow the same rules here. So we're going to multiply by 2 to get out to that arc because it's inscribed. We're going to get our central angle to be the same exact thing. But now we need to work with our isosceles triangle because we've got those two congruent radii. So we're going to do 180 minus 64 gives us 116 degrees. We'll divide that by 2, and we get that each of those angles at x, so both those base angles would be 58 degrees. The next one here, they want us to again work with the, we'll eventually work with the isosceles triangle piece. So the only thing they give us is that angle D is 15. So simple enough, isosceles triangle, x is 15. All right, really no work to do in that one. So here they give us that angle D is 19 degrees. So it's inscribed. It's inscribed all the way up here to arc BC. So we know arc BC is going to be 38 degrees, which means this central angle at A here is going to be 38 degrees. So we're going to follow our isosceles triangle rules again. So 180 minus 38 is going to give us 142. We'll divide that by 2, and x is going to be 71 degrees. And then if we want to explain why triangle ABC in problem 1D is isosceles, that is because AB is congruent to AC because all radii in the same circle are congruent. Okay? So in the diagram of circle M shown, the measure of arc PRQ is 308. So that's the one all the way around the back. Which of the following is the measure of angle PRQ? So we know circles have 360 degrees. So 360 minus 308 is going to give us 52. So 52 degrees is going to be arc PQ. Since it's inscribed to that, we cut it in half. And 52 divided by 2 gives us 26. So now, once know the measure of arc AC. So the only thing they give us is angle A, which is inscribed here. So we're going to multiply by 2 to get our arc, 64 degrees. Then ADB here is a diameter. So we know that creates a semicircle. So 180 minus 64 is going to give us 116 degrees. In circle K shown, the measure of arc NPL, so this major arc, this big one, is twice the measure of arc NL, okay, which really should say NML. So if it's twice the measure, we don't know exactly what it is, but we know it's going to be x and 2x. So what's the following measure of angle NML? So they want to know that angle where I put the question mark. Well, let's find some arcs first. So x plus 2x equals 360 because those are the only two arcs in a circle. So 3x equals 360 divided by 3, and we get 120. So obviously that leaves 120 degrees for x, and then that leaves 240 degrees for the 2x. So since angle M is inscribed to that 240, we'll cut that 240 in half and get 120 degrees. And for our last one here in circle A shown, BC is parallel to DE. So it tells us arc BC is 58 degrees. It tells us arc DE is 142 degrees. Determine the measure of angle CFE. Okay, so there's going to be a couple of different ways to go about this one. The best way to go about it is the fact that, I'm going to use my highlighter here for a second. We know that the arcs between parallel chords are going to be congruent. So we know all of CE has to be congruent to all of BFD. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 58 plus 142, which gives us a nice 200. So 360 minus 200 gives us 160. So there's 160 degrees left for both of those. If we divide it by 2, because they're both the same, that gives us 80 and 80. So now CFE is inscribed to that 80 degrees. So half of 80 gives us 40. Okay, so we had to apply two things there. One was that our arcs between parallel chords are congruent, and then the other was one of our basic inscribed angles.